The output unit conveys the information from the computer to the user. It comprises the output devices of the computer, such as the video, printer, plotter, and speaker. Let us discuss some of the output devices. A visual display unit, VDU, or commonly a video monitor, is the most widely used output device. It is made of a display screen and electronic circuitry that displays a picture corresponding to the video signal sent by the computer. However, it does not produce a permanent record of the output. There are two main technologies used to manufacture a video, namely CRT and LCD. Let's discuss about the CRT monitor. The basic component of a cathode ray tube or CRT monitor are the electron gun, focusing system, horizontal and vertical deflection system, and a phosphor coated screen. The phosphor material is arranged into an array of millions of tiny cells, usually called dots. A color monitor has three electron guns that correspond to the primary colors red, green, and blue, and emit stream of electrons very close to each other, causing the beams to overlap. A cluster of three dots for the color red, green, and blue together form a pixel. It is smallest unit of a picture element on the screen. The color and brightness of a pixel is controlled by adjusting the intensities of the electron guns. The resolution of a screen depends on how close the pixels are placed. LCD monitor. Another type of display is the flat panel display. It is formed using special type of crystal called liquid crystal and hence called liquid crystal display LCD. These have lower power consumption, flat screen, and are thin in nature with less than 3 inch in depth and hence occupy lesser desk space. However, the disadvantage with this monitor is a narrow viewing angle and compared to CRT display. In an LCD display, the images is produced by placing the liquid crystal between two glass plates. A special arrangement of light polarizers and electrodes are then used to form the image on the screen. The image is formed by passing light from a light source through the liquid crystal and by changing the property of the crystal by passing electric current through the electrodes. A printer provides the information displayed on the computer screen onto paper. The output produced on paper is called hard copy. Printer can be divided into two categories, impact and non-impact. An impact printer, the image is produced on the paper by some electromagnetical impact device, just the working of a mechanical typewriter. Various types of impact printers include dot matrix printers, line printers, daisy wheel printers, etc. Dot matrix printer, DMP. Instead of printing a character at once, this printer uses a group of pins of very small radius to strike the ink ribbon and create a dot at the point of impact. A character or an image can be formed proper arrangement of many such dots. The pin hammer assembly is moved back and forth by a motor. To print a character driven by electromagnets, the pins hit the ink ribbon and as a result a character gets printed on the paper. A roller moves the paper to the next line and Continuous printing, usually a pin-heated assembly, consists of 7 into 5 dots and 9 into 7 dots arranged in a matrix. Higher number of dots creates finer impressions. These printers are still used in offices for heavy printing jobs and can print for very long time without any break. Daisy wheel printer. These are character printers where a special type of wheel called a daisy wheel contains the set of character used in the printing process. The characters are embossed on small metal plates that are mounted on the spokes on a wheel. During printing, the wheel rotates at the high speed and electromechanical hammer strike on the appropriate character when it comes under the hammer. The character is stuck against an ink ribbon which drives out ink from the ribbon and make an impression on the character shape on the paper. By changing the wheel, one can print using a different set of characters. Such a printer is fast and good for printing basic text. It can print at the rate of 10 to 50 characters per second. However, it prints a single character at a time and cannot be used to print images. Line printer. This type of impact printer is used to print a complete line of text at a time at a very high speed. These printers have a hammer for each columns of the page which strike on an ink ribbon at the same time and a line is printed at once. These are much faster than those which print one character at a time. However, these are costly and heavy as many sets of hammers are needed for printing. There are two types of line printers. One is drum printer, another is chain printer. Drum printer. Such a printer contains a cylindrical drum whose length is same as the length of a printed line. The drum has 132 parallel tracks and along each track all the character set are embossed. The 64 characters set is the most common one. The printer ribbon and the printing paper are sandwiched between the drum and a set of 132 hammers each corresponding a particular character. The drum rotates at a high speed and when the appropriate character in a track comes under the hammer strike on the paper and the character impression from the drum is printed on the paper. Chain printer. In such a printer, the printing characters are changed together to form a loop. Using a motor gear assembly, the chain is rotated horizontally at a high speed. An ink ribbon and a paper is mounted in front of the characters on the chain. A set of hammers equal to the number of a printing positions of a line are placed touching the paper. When the appropriate character comes under the hammer strike the paper and the character impression from the chain is transferred to the paper through the ink ribbon. Non-impact printer. Non-impact printers use thermal, chemical, electrostatic, laser beam or inkjet technologies for printing. There is no physical contact between the print head and paper. These are faster than the impact printer. In a non-impact type printer, the image is produced on the paper without the need for any impact hammer or ink ribbon. This can be used to print both character and image pointers and produce much less noise during printing. The printing quality of this printer is also far better than impact type printer and can produce both black and white and color printouts. Inject printer. Inject printers use a continuous stream of ink drops to print character on paper. The print head contain tiny nozzles that spray drop of ink on paper. The quality is good because the characters are formed by many tiny ink drops. An Inject printer is a non-impact printer. It prints by injecting microscopic drops of ink through tiny ink nozzle in the print head. Each nozzle can be heated up selectively in a few microseconds using resistive heating effect. On heating, the ink droplets in the ink tank of the ink cartridge expands and is ejected out from the nozzle onto paper. This ink drop forms a tiny dots of ink on the paper. As tiny dots of ink combine to produce a pattern, they can be used to print both photo quality images and characters of any shapes and size. A high resolution inkjet printer can print even 2400 dots per inch. Laser printer. Laser printer print one page at a time. An image of a output is made on the drum by electrically changed light beam. Thus, areas on the drum get changed. These electrically changed areas attract ink particles which get deposited on the paper using heat or pressure. This non-impact type printer use dry ink to print text or image on paper. A laser beam is used to charge position of a rolled drum coated with a special photoconducting material. The charge pattern laid down on the drum depends on the content of the document to be printed. As the paper is rolled over the drum, dry ink is then deposited onto the paper based on the static charge on the drum. The ink is then bonded onto the paper using heat. Plotter. A plotter is similar to an inkjet printer but is used for printing on a large paper or continuous paper rolls. These are usually used for printing engineering drawings like building plans, mechanical drawings, assembly drawings, etc. A plotter can print in both black and white and color and can either have a set of plotting pens filled with the colors cyan, magenta, yellow and black in case of a color plotter. Depending upon the working, one can have a drum plotter where the paper is rolled over a drum and a flatbed plotter where the plotter pens plot on a flat surface over which the paper is placed. Other output devices include speaker, computer output, microfilms, CAD/CAM machines, etc. The processed audio output from a computer can be heard through a speaker system or a headphone. Microfilms technology can be used to directly get miniature output from computers on films. Due to large data compression ratio, the huge volume of a data can be stored on microfilms and can be viewed using a projector. CAD, CAM, computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacturing technology can directly convert the drawing instruction in a computer to a set of electrical signal which can be used to drive mechanism to automatically manufacture product.